In the shadows of ancient Medina, where envy whispered spells into the night, a hidden knot threatened the heart of the prophet, until divine light unraveled it all. Say, O prophet, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak, from the evil of those witches casting spells by blowing onto knots, and from the evil of an envier when they envy. Say, O prophet, I seek refuge in the Lord of humankind, from the evil of the lurking whisperer, who whispers into the hearts of humankind. This is the night envy spoke. His words reach every ear in Medina. They whisper in the markets, they echo in the homes. This is jealousy, the jealousy that eats the heart. We argued with him, we mocked him, we tried every trick. Still, people run to him. This is the one they call for help. You want him stopped? Then bring me what he touches, a strand of hair, a comb. I'll do the rest. This is the boy who will steal what they ask for. I can take it quietly. No one will know. This is the hand that ties the knot, the rope that lowers the secret into an old well. Let it stay there, deep, hidden. Let it work. This is the beginning of the story behind Surah An-Nas. In most Muslim families, children are made to memorize the Qur'an word after word, verse after verse, whether they understand it or not. The 4 Quls must be memorized. Maybe this is why today the Qur'an lives in our homes, but not always in our hearts. What is Surah An-Nas? They say it was revealed in Medina. They say the Prophet was harmed. But who did it? And why would anyone try to harm the Messenger of Allah with magic? We will find out in this story. The story begins in Medina, the city of palms and peace. Morning light spilling through narrow streets, the call to prayer still echoing across the rooftops. Merchants opening their stalls, children chasing one another between the courtyards, life moving as it always did. But inside one small home, the home of Aisha, R.A., something felt different. The Prophet was calm as always, kind, patient, smiling, but lately he seemed tired. He would rise in the night to pray, then pause as if he had forgotten whether he had already prayed. He would say, "I've done that," when he hadn't. Small things, moments only Aisha, R.A., noticed. She watched quietly day after day. The confusion was gentle but strange, unlike him. Her heart tightened, but her lips stayed silent. Outside, the world carried on. Companions came and went, the masjid filled with voices and footsteps, and yet a stillness hung over everything. He looks tired today. No one knew then what was happening. Beyond the calm streets of Medina, something dark had already begun, tied by envy, fed by jealousy, born of hate. This is the spell that no one could see, the spell that would test every heart in Medina. But how did it begin? How did jealousy turn into something so dark? Medina was peaceful. The message of Islam was spreading. Hearts were opening. Homes were filling with light. Their numbers grow too large. We must act soon. Soon this city will remember who holds the true power here. But for those who could not bear that light, the change felt like a threat. His words reach every house. Our power fades with every follower he gains. What if the people forget us completely? The whisper became fear, and fear became hate. Among them was a man known for his tricks with knots and breath, a man who dealt in whispers and shadows, a man whose name was Labd ibn al-Assam. They came to him in secret, gold in hand, promises on their tongues. They wanted silence, not truth. Labid listened quietly. He had heard the name before. The man who spoke truth when others feared it, the man who broke idols with words, not weapons, the man whose message had shaken the pride of Makkah. And that was enough. You want him stopped? Then bring me what he touches, a strand of hair, a comb. I'll do the rest. He asked for little, a strand of hair, a single comb, something the Prophet had touched. He wrapped it inside a dry husk of a date palm. He tied one knot, then another and another, 11 knots, each one sealed with envy and breath. And when it was done, the object was carried out under the cover of night. They walked beyond the homes, past the quiet gardens, to an old forgotten well, the well of Darwan. And there they kept what they had made, hidden from eyes, hidden from hearts, believing it would never be found. They thought their knots could bind the truth. They thought the darkness could hide from the Lord of Light. But the one who sees what is hidden had already written how this would end. But what happens when the darkness they planned begins to touch the messenger himself? When the calm of his home begins to feel heavy and no one understands why? Days passed in Medina. The prophet moved through them as always, gentle, patient, smiling. Yet sometimes he would pause, as though searching for a thought that had slipped away. He would reach for something, then stop, uncertain. He would say, "I have done that," when he had not. Small moments, but enough for one heart to notice. Aisha R.A. watched quietly. She watched and waited and prayed. Her heart was calm, but her eyes worried. She knew something was wrong, though no one else could see it. And when no answer came, the prophet turned to the only door he ever knocked, the door of Allah. He turned to Allah, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, for clarity, for mercy, for healing. And the one who hears every whisper answered. One night, while he was with Aisha R.A., the prophet told her that Allah had shown him the answer in his dream. Two angels appeared, speaking in words only the heart could hear. They said that harm had been worked upon him. They spoke the name of the man, Labid ibn al-Arsam, from the tribe of Bani Zuraik, a man known for his dealings and his allies among the Jews. They told of what he had used: a comb, strands of hair, and the dry husk of a date palm. And they told where it was hidden, in the old well of Darwan. The prophet, awoke and told Aisha R.A. what he had seen. Her worry turned to calm, for what had been hidden was now known. They had buried their plot in the depths of a well, but faith had reached deeper. This was the supplication that broke the spell. When dawn came, the answer had already been written. What was hidden in the dark would now be found in the light. The prophet, was a man whose patience had no end. He never raised his voice in anger. He never repaid harm with harm. When others cursed him, he prayed for them. When they turned away, he smiled. Even in pain, he never spoke of revenge. He only spoke of trust in Allah. And now, when he knew what had been done to him, there was no rage in his eyes, only peace. He called for Ali, R.A., Al-Zubair, R.A., and a few of his companions. Together they walked through the still streets of Medina, the morning air cool, the sun barely rising. Their steps echoed softly as they reached the well of Darwan, old, quiet, forgotten. The water inside was dark, its surface the color of henna. The palm trees leaned close, as if guarding a secret. A bundle was found, wrapped in the dry husk of a date palm. The prophet began to recite verse after verse, each word clear and calm, words that would later be known as Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas. With the first verse, one knot came loose. With the second, another untied. With the third, the air around them grew lighter, until the last verse was recited and every knot was undone. When he came home, Aisha saw his face and knew the cure had come. She asked softly, "O Messenger of Allah, why did you not take it out and show the people?" He replied, "Allah has cured me, and I feared that showing it might spread harm among them." He could have exposed them. He could have called for justice. But the Messenger of Allah, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, chose mercy instead. That was who he was, a man who forgave even when he was wronged, who taught the world that true strength is in restraint. And then came the verses, not of anger but of refuge, words that would protect hearts till the end of time. The verses of dawn and mankind, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah An-Nas. From the evil of whatever he has created, and from the evil of the night when it grows dark, and then the final chapter revealed to protect not just the messenger, but all of mankind. The master of humankind, the God of humankind, from among jinn and humankind. Now let's try to understand what we just heard. Surah Al-Falaq, the shield from the outside. Al-Falaq, the break of dawn, the moment when the night finally surrenders and the first light tears it apart. Allah is telling us, when fear surrounds you like darkness, call upon the one who can rip that darkness open. Say, "I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak, from every evil that he created, from the night when its shadows spread, from the whispers that blow on knots, and from the envy when an envious one burns inside. It's as if Allah is saying, don't fight the unseen with your hands. Fight it with my remembrance. Every harm, every curse, every jealous eye. Nothing can touch the one who hides beneath my protection. This surah is not just words. It's a door that opens when the world turns dark. But then Allah teaches another protection, not from the world outside, but from the whispers inside. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, the King of mankind, the God of mankind. Those thoughts that creep in quietly, the ones that make you doubt, make you jealous, make you forget who you are. That voice that says, you're fine without prayer. You're strong on your own. You don't need him. That's the waswasa, the hidden whisperer. It comes, then disappears like smoke, like a shadow, but it leaves a mark. And Allah tells us, remember me as your Reb, your Malik, your Ilah, the one who made you, rules you, and deserves your love. Because when your heart remembers its master, every whisper loses its power. And so the surahs were revealed, 2 verses of refuge, 2 shields of mercy. Their recitation spread from the lips of the Prophet, to the hearts of his ummah. Children memorized them before sleep, warriors recited them before battle, and every believer carried them as armor against the unseen and the unspoken. The well was sealed, the spell was broken, but the whispers, they never stopped, because the same envy that burned then burns now. The same jealousy, the same hatred, it only changed its face. Now it hides in words, in screens, in hearts that smile but ache with comparison. We scroll through lives, count blessings not our own, and forget that envy is still a fire. If this story touched your heart, then share it. Let another soul remember. Let another heart find light. Support this journey, so together we can bring every story of the Qur'an to life again. And remember, heart of Guidance TV and your doers, your prayers, your support, your love. They keep these reminders alive.